Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the After Action Report. Very happy to have you with us this evening. Also, happy to have you with us is Admiral Tater's Ship Shop. They are a proud sponsor of the show. If you're looking for accessories for your Armada game, this is definitely the place to go to. This is more than just tokens and rulers. You can pick up terrain markers, and you can also pick up now the plastic, not plastic, but what would typically be referred to as cardboard, but it is a higher grade material now, acrylic. Wow, I am having trouble with words today. So you know what? We are just going to let you know, check out Admiral Tater's Ship Shop. You will find some very, very fantastic accessories. As far as what we've got going on this week, we will be doing something for Mid-Rim Mayhem. I haven't figured out exactly what that is because we are pretty much done with the campaign except for the pivotal battle. So we're hoping to get that scheduled at some point, but it is not quite ready to go yet. And I do need to get last week's Mid-Rim Mayhem posted and up on YouTube, but we'll get that as soon as I can get some editing done. It's been kind of a busy week here. With that being said, we are going to jump in. You will notice that Ruben is not with us this evening. Unfortunately, he had a prior commitment, but we do have Garrett.
That's me.
And we do have Nick.
How's everybody doing?
So is there any news that we need to throw out there before we get into our topic for the day? I know I've been seeing some things about Legacy getting ready to drop some or has something in beta right now.
I think they have like Wave 1 beta open if you want to go look at that. Over at here.
I think I've posted something about that on my on the Facebook page, so you guys can check out that there.
Yeah, if you live over on the East Coast, on September 20th in DC at Huzzah Hobbies, they're having their the DC Devastator title as part of their circuit they're doing. And then October 4th, they've got the Abington Amity Qualifier on October 4th. So if you're in the East Coast and you don't know what Tri-State Armada is, you need to look them up. They got a really vibrant group. And then on the West Coast, there's some upcoming events in San Francisco that's going to replace the Golden State Games around the same time. As it gets closer, I'll give more details for that. And then, of course, in I think October as well, the Calgary's having their Western Canadian Championship game. So, and then Las Vegas Open is like a couple weeks away. So we'll have some news on fleets and stuff from that.
So there's like a lot of see how things have been evolving.
Yeah, and then in Europe, Paris has got their thing this weekend as well. Their big ARC tournament in Paris. And then I think that's all the ones on the top of my head. But still lots of like organized play happening, obviously ran by the community in ARC and the TOs that are handling it, right?
Yeah, I know Tip City is always running a monthly event, and I'm pretty sure that there's always the monthly event in Louisville. It may not be quite monthly in Louisville. I don't remember.
I don't think so, but they're like us, where we play weekly, right?
Yeah,
they're on Fridays, and they generally are down to play any day if you ask, right, in their Discord. So,
as far as what we've got going on, if you've been following our campaign, we've pretty much hit the end of it. We just have to have the climatic battle, and actually, we thought when we were first talking about when we were scheduling it, we thought it really wasn't going to matter, but points do matter now, right?
Yep. Yeah, we figured out based on the timing of how we're going to do the climactic battle with the objective, there is a way for the Empire to come back on a Hail Mary play. So it comes down to who wins the climactic, which is pretty exciting. Yeah.
Otherwise, it'd be really boring. Right? It would just
exactly
be another game,
right.
So.
Well, after last week, and we were kind of talking like, is there even a point in playing a climactic if it's like it's clear victory? It's like, we'll all just get together and just play a game for posterity's sake.
Yeah.
But then we after Ruben and I looked it up, and I was looking at all of our options. I was like, wait a second, this lets us, so we have a potential 10-point swing.
We can do it.
Because pivotals are hard work too.
Yeah, they are.
So it's good to have motivation behind it to encourage us to follow through on it.
Yeah,
because it's like a 10-hour commitment.
Yeah,
it's all day. It's an all day thing.
It is a day.
So we just gotta get that day figured out. It's been a busy month for everybody, and we have to pick a weekend day.
Everybody is kind of spread pretty thin this month, so
yeah.
And then I haven't gotten the video up on YouTube yet, but we have been testing fleets for doing sector fleet version of Rebellion in the Rim. I don't know. I played poorly, I guess, is the way it kind of falls out, and so I don't know.
I wasn't there, but something tells me it was the first time you've flown your 600-point fleet, and
well, I mean, keep in mind it was 500 points, and I flew against Aaron, and Aaron said that I didn't fly badly, but there were a couple errors in judgment there. Like after my experience playing you, Garrett, where we had that constant ram where I didn't get to move anywhere, I did not want to get stuck. And so I put one of my ISDs in a very bad place by jumping over his ships and ended up losing the ISD because of that.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you learned your lesson, right?
Yeah, I mean, right? It's just one of those things. Yeah. Learned. Yeah, I just, And then there was also probably the most amazing dice roll that I have ever seen anybody throw. I mean, it was better than Jeff's rolls during the campaign that Aaron threw. I mean, I think it was 8 dice that threw 11 damage.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Aaron is known for pretty hot red dice.
I actually played him on Sunday, and it came and went. I was running a double ISD sector fleet into I don't know if it was the same fleet he flew against you, Chris, but Liberty and Home 1. And like his first shot, like a Liberty was like 6 red dice, did like 2 damage. Like it was like nothing. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll brace that, redirect it. And then then we got in close, and his Liberty threw like it was like 11. It was like 4 doubles and 2 accuracies. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm glad you have no dice fixing, and you just throw 4 doubles.
Hot dice hurt.
So, yeah, you can't do much about that.
Yeah.
But it was a good game. I traded both my ISDs, but I ended up a narrow win on that.
But that event actually led me into the topic for tonight, which is planning, because they asked if I had a plan going in, and I did. I really did have a plan going into the scenario, and I executed for the most part pretty well, except for that jump there that I did with the ISD. I'm trying to we were playing a green objective. It was the one where you can spend engineering points to place tokens and then take them off the station and get points for it. And I mean, I had 9 tokens by the end of that game, which was nice. But I just couldn't keep up with the damage. I was trying to kind of use my ISDs to shield my interdictor, and I didn't quite get them around the way that I wanted to. And I mean, he one-shotted the interdictor, so
wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Nuts, actually. I don't even understand.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't say part of it was because there was a ram that had been involved, so it did have 1 damage card on there already. But yeah, still, I mean, it was
still a lot.
Yeah, that it was brutal.
It's funny because I was about to tell you, like, interdictor should shield something else. They can tank so much damage and recover so quickly. But I guess you were spending its points on those tokens.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing really well on the tokens, but yeah.
Yeah, which I will say that objective is really unusual for Armada, right? Because it's that green objective, and so it's
Yeah.
hard to. It's just different. It's not one of the regular red, blue, or red, blue,
No, no.
yellows, right? So
Yeah, I think in practice, especially in like that's the other thing too, is like Sector Fleet's a very different um, game than like regular Rebellion 200 point task force. I feel like the Sector Fleet objectives, like something like HoloNet, is like you almost ignore the objective until like turn 5 or 6, and then put some points on that because that could have been maybe shields that you needed to push. Because Sector Fleet is so different of a game when you have like 3 or 4 ships all shooting the same ship. Like an ISD in 200 point game can take like 2 turns of getting blasted by your opponent's entire fleet because it's what it does. It's
I
what your
only had
Mars
one
kind of do.
chance. I only had one chance to move shields. Only one
Yeah.
opportunity, and I
Right.
did it. That was the priority over the scoring points. And it just
because your ships are equally the same as in 400 points or 200 points, like as far as like stats and upgrades. The only difference is there's just more ships shooting at it, like Nick said. So like one thing you gotta like when you go into Sector Fleet, like you're gonna lose stuff. You just have to accept that going into the battle. Like, what am I gonna put in that's going to die first, but it's going to trade points in a way that it comes out on top? And that's hard math.
And it takes experience. That takes like just playing more and more Sector Fleet games and kind of getting used to the feel of like, when you're playing at 500 and 600 points, your ISD is not going to survive as long as it does at even 400 points. Your small ships are, I mean, they're generally going to die in the same number of shots, but like your small ships, if you're going like more like MSU, you can take 4 or 5 small ships that can all really target the same thing. It's a much easier to overwhelm defense tokens in Sector Fleet than it is in any other way to play Armada, right?
Yeah. So I guess that leads to, where does the plan begin? Does the plan begin in fleet construction, or does the plan begin when you sit down at the table?
Yeah, no, definitely fleet construction.
Yeah, it's definitely it comes down to how you want to build it and how you want to fly it. Everybody kind of has what they enjoy and what they're good at. And that then like if when I'm sitting down with I've flown so many different lists, but like when I sit down and I think about it, I think of kind of like all these components and toys I can play with. What am I going to focus on with this list? And that could either be like, do I want to play a specific commander? Do you pull out like Thrawn and say like, okay, I just kind of want to fly a Thrawn list. What am I going to do with that? Or maybe that's something like, not every commander is one, like, Jerry is not a commander that you sit down and say like, I'm gonna build a Jerry fleet because he just works kind of with any fleet. Whereas you have somebody like Sloan is like a squadron commander. And I'm gonna talk about Imperials because that's all I really know. But so like you're limited if you want to look at the commander you want to play. That's going to really direct your gameplay and your list building, the ships you take, the upgrades you take. You might have like, I want to play a certain combo, like an upgrade combo. That's kind of how I got like my shenanigans list that I fly with like all the speed stuff. Is I want to use tractor beams and interdictors. So how do I build a list around, like, I pick those first and then build everything from around that? How do I make that work? How do I make it score points? So.
And then when you're looking at the difference between building for a constructed game, I guess the best way to term it, one that would be like tournament, everything built up and everything, and then when we're building for campaign, where your fleet's going to grow, you also have to kind of think about those directions, correct?
Well, I think campaigns, it's a totally different mentality.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what planets you're going to go to, what upgrades you're going to get. So it's really, you almost build a fleet that can work without upgrades first, and then go from there. But the next thing about the admirals building up, so I've used this example with a few people who ask me about building fleets. Is I like to think of it like an upside down pyramid or triangle, and then at the bottom in the tip, right, it's the admiral. And even I think if you pick like somebody like Jerry, that's fine, because if you pick Jerry, you're probably not doing a squadron build. You can, right? But that's like the next like 2 blocks up, right, as you build this triangle. So you pick your admiral, and then from there you decide, do I want to ship? Do I want to mix? Or do I want to go for, like, heavy squads? And heavy squads, like, 134, dedicated carrier, dedicated floats, and then 1 ship, right? A capital ship, or even a smaller group of, like, gladiators and raiders, or on rebels, MC-30s and CR-90s, along with a rogue ball or something. And then from there, the next step is I've got to outfit upgrades to these ships I picked to both work with the admiral, the ships, and then whether I'm doing all ship, mixed, or all squads. And then once you have that, and it's not step by step, because at the same time, while you're picking upgrades, you need to be thinking about what objective is going to be using your upgrades. And then, because they're using upgrades, you got to build a bid in, depending on whether you care if you're first or second player. Classic example, you need a huge bid if you want to play Radis, so you have to be first player, right? So you're building your fleet specifically around having 12, 13, 14 points to be able to take first, because that's all that matters. And then, or you're building a Dooku fleet with munificence and hard cells, and you're farming a bandit mining facility. And so everything's built around
Just
being
farming,
able to force the enemy into picking your abandoned mining facility, or one of the other horrible objectives that is really annoying to deal with raid with. So I think that is, admiral, ships, objectives, and upgrades, and then you go into how are we going to actually fly this fleet.
Yep, definitely.
I have not yet figured out that how to fly this fleet.
Like that's the hardest part, right? Like you could take a list built at a tournament, right, that wins, and you can put it on the table and just get absolutely smashed.
And just get destroyed over and over again. Yep.
Right, because it all depends on how you deploy. It all depends on how you lay the obstacles out on the table, and then it depends on like what your command dials are,
your decision making. Yeah.
Your activation.
Do you know how to use your pass token? Right. Do you know how to? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm really curious about digging deeper into setting. If you are planning on being second player, setting things up to where the objectives are favorable to you, and there are objectives that work very similarly, but it's hard to find all 3 that work really close in the same ballpark there.
I actually think that's one of the easier things to kind of narrow down, because and like you said, it's generally pretty easy to find 2 objectives, like either a red and blue or a yellow and blue, that are going to work really well. So for example, that Dooku fleet, what do you always see with that fleet? You see a bandit mining facility and you see surprise attack, right? Because those are really punishing when you stack Dooku's rating on top of that. Well, then what ends up happening is, what's your blue objective? That's going to be the one you're going to be playing every time you play that fleet. You're going to go to a tournament and you're going to play that objective 3 times. And so you
got the least bad option.
Yeah. So your third objective, even if like you don't see a blue that's like immediately like obvious, that would be good with your Dooku Muni raid fleet, you're going to pick one that you can consistently score or win at. Maybe you play volatile or infested fields if you bring in some squadrons. When you're picking your objectives, it's hard to really get all 3 that are like, there's no good option here.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of funnel it into the one that you kind of know how to play.
Or get lucky and they pick your trap. Which happens. So yeah, I think, and then like picking objectives, right? It's just, there's what do we call them? Farming objectives, like fire lanes,
Yeah, a
sensor
sensor
net,
net, abandoned mining facility.
ABF,
Uh,
yep, and then
you could say even like I'd say contested and Doom Station are less farming
those are based
because
on your fleet.
they yeah they
Heavy.
those play a little differently, but
Well, and I mean, not even all farming farming objectives operate in the same manner. So your fleet would have to be different for one than the other.
Right.
exactly.
Like Clone Wars can't do that. They can't have fire lanes and sensor net because they don't have strategic. They just don't. I know Legacy and Arc will probably get that done. I think maybe Legacy already has. I don't remember, but like they just can't. Like you can't take those objectives. There's nothing you can do with them. And then on top of farming objectives, and then there's shooting objectives, right? Like advanced gunnery,
Most wanted.
most
Yeah.
wanted.
That's kind of where I would put like contested outposts. Honestly, is more like a shooting. I'm picking the spot that we're going to fight over.
That's correct. You're creating a kill zone area, and you have to deploy your fleet in a way that takes advantage of that kill zone. So you can't mess that up. And then I think I would consider hyperspace assault a shooting one because you're setting up a rear
ambush situation. Yep.
Planetary ion cannon. I would consider that. I think asteroid tactics is. I think asteroid. I love people. It's overkill, obviously, but it's amazing.
Yeah, I fly a lot of squadless, right? And so I pick asteroid tactics because I can control the exogorths, which can minimize the amount of squad coverage I need. If I'm only going to bring like 2 or 4 TIE fighters to delay a round of bombing, I can bring these exogorths that's going to help my squadron survive, or maybe buy me another turn where the bombers haven't come in yet because they don't want to get eaten up and activated by the worms.
Yep.
So that's a plan. It's all about having a plan, right? It's about making your objectives work for you.
Yep.
I don't know why, but that just reminded me of that. I think it was a conversation shortly after Worlds where someone has just kind of developed this game plan around what are they? The space whales, essentially.
Yeah.
And just,
hyperspace migration.
Yeah.
So that's a shooting one, right? You can shoot with it and farm at the same time because it doesn't involve using commands or any other tools to make those whales produce tokens. It's just proximity to the tokens.
So you just slow roll your fleet next to the whales, and then your opponent has to come into you. So you build a fleet that can kind of turtle up and take anything that comes at it.
Yep. I think blues are. I wish that maybe Armada Matt had data like this and I just missed it, but I'm pretty sure blue objectives are the most picked out of anything in any game. They're generally the easiest to play, especially.
I feel like Solar Corona. Yeah.
Corona and superior positions if you have squadrons. I think, and part of that too is I think because reds and yellows, they have some of the more punishing objectives, and so everybody takes those, which forces everybody to pick the lesser of 3 evils, right?
Yeah.
Because you either are taking an advanced gunnery, surprise attack, or most wanted. And most wanted most of the time can be generally okay, but you still don't want to be on the receiving end of that bonus die. And then your yellow is always going to be like contested, which unless you're a fleet that wants to play contested, you don't want to fly into that. Astro tactics, where that could depend on if you're squadron heavy or whatever, or abandoned mining facility, which if your opponent has abandoned mining facility, they have a plan for it.
For sure.
Yeah.
So you just never take somebody's abandoned mining because they picked that objective with a fleet in mind.
Yeah, I do like seeing 2 farm fleets run into each other, and they both click abandon, and then they both like queue up like 20 tokens each.
Yeah, they just sit there and try to farm.
The game's decided by like 1 dead squadron. It happens.
It does happen. It's one of the ones where if you pick abandoned mining facility because it's something you like, I ran that like the interdictor fleet, and like you run into somebody who has it, and you're just like, oh, I'm about to flip this bad on you. Yeah,
Nick. So I might have a warped perception grab rifts because I have to play Nick and think about him. But like I can't pick things like Rift Ambush or Doom Station or like what's the is it Rift
Assault? Yeah.
Anything like that where I have to plan on objectives because I might end up across from Nick and he's moving everything in the worst way possible for me.
I'm throwing that rift at you.
So, but if you have an interdictor, right, you could take those and really play your opponent into them. I've watched people just crumble because like they'll deploy. Nick will throw the rift at their ships immediately with asteroids right in front of them, and then it's just
it's too funny.
It's
too
probably
funny.
It's probably just a matter of my skill level not being up to the challenge, but is disruption viable in Armada? Is a disruption build something that is playable?
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah. Yes and no. Yes and no. I love my listen. I love my list. I'm gonna keep flying it until it wins, consistently. It does win, but the issue with it is that disruption, like points in Armada, are all about kill shots, right? Can you kill a ship and get the points for it? If you can't kill it, you don't get anything for it. The issue with disruption fleets is that they don't inherently have a way to score you points. And so you have to, and it comes back to the plan. You have to have a plan for that. Why? Like my shenanigans list started as me saying, I want to run Constantine as a commander and make him work. And I built the list and took Constantine out because he doesn't add value to the list. Yeah, it's extra speed shenanigans on top of I have the G8s and the Phylon Q7s on the ISD. So I'm doing all this like stacked speed. I'm sapping your NAV tokens. And then Constantine can do like the slowdown at the end. But you know who works better for that? Jerry. Yeah. Jerry works better for that because if I'm slowing you down to speed 1 and you're constantly navving to get yourself speed 2 and take like small turns, I can have my quad ISD sitting back at speed 2 with Jerry taking really hard turns and setting up where he needs to be while I'm slowing you down, and I jump in with a double arc at close range at the worst time. But that's also why I run a quad ISD with all the bells and whistles on it, because I need to kill something.
Yes.
You know, all the Grav Rift shenanigans, everything in the world, it doesn't score me enough points. I have to kill your large ship. I have to kill your flagship.
So that leads to the next question. You know, you're talking about where are the points coming from? Does it strictly have to be kills, or can objectives score you enough points to win?
I mean, yeah, like the classic
Farm Hawk.
Yeah.
Right. Rack up 300 points in fire lanes or sensor net. But that's like that fleet. But you could do that stuff with non-Farm Hawk fleets, right?
More or less. The issue is you have to have a farming list that can score those points and not die.
That's the big
part. That's why the Farmhawk was so successful, because it was a 14-hull ship with Agate on it and 134 points of squadrons that stopped anybody from getting near you, so that its little VCXs could strategic the sensor net tokens just perfectly, and you couldn't break the squad ball because it was a ton of X-wings and was it Y22400s? I forget what the ball was. Everybody ran something a little different.
Everyone had a different one, because like all that mattered was the VCXs were there, the 2 flotillas, and then you could bring like whatever you wanted. Everyone always had Gold Squadron, and you know, I think Ketsu was popular. Z95s, just because why not, right?
Yeah. But if you're running, if you want to run like an Imperial version that's going to run back like sitting with an interdictor and try to do like, oh, I'm going to do abandoned mining facility and sensor net or something, where I'm trying to score these tokens. Well, you run into that Farm Hawk and they say, okay, you outbid me. Well, I'm going to take first player. I'm going to go speed 2, I guess, but I'm going to go full speed straight at you. And on turn 4, you're going to have to deal with that Starhawk being at like close to medium range, and it's going to blow everything up. And did you score 300 points in those 3 turns? You know?
Yeah.
Probably not.
And that's farming up objectives. You can also farm with squadrons, like Precision Strike and Superior Position.
And Superior. Yep.
Superior is I've gotten the most points, because I don't play like Fire Lanes, Internet, but I will play Superior Positions, and I've farmed hundreds of points in games off of just pinging the back of ships and I'll go out of my way to not kill their ship, so that I can just keep pinging it over and over and over. Because it's worth way more alive to me than dead, right? So that's another way to play. Is superior positions, precision strike. We played that, Chris, where we were just flipping cards up, farming points. You did a good job though. Like you matched my.
I matched the points on that, but I just couldn't deal with that double arc, that weird, weird.
And your gladiator
arc
wasn't there to help. So
no.
So you can farm with squadrons. You can farm with ships. You can farm.
You got mercy mission.
Mercy mission. I don't know if I call it a farm. That's more.
No, I know. I wish there was more like upgrades like that though. It's a really, really thematic upgrade.
So you can play Capture the VIP, which is a yellow, and then Intel Sweep is pretty similar, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the person who gets more objectives is like what, 75 points or 50 points?
I think it's 75. I think I've only successfully flipped that on somebody once. It's really hard to do because they get to place 3 tokens on their side and you get 2. So it's basically like you got to do this weird gambit and get to their 3rd token before they do. And if they know what they're doing, or if you get, basically if they know what they're doing, they're going to get them. I was playing against like an MC80 fleet that are only speed 2, and that's the only reason I was able to get over to it. So.
Yeah.
Now, if you're building an objective fleet, how important is the bid to you?
If you're building for objectives, on the objective. If you're building an objective fleet, your bid is important. You're looking at 10, 11, 12 point bid. Because if you're building a fleet around the objectives to score, then you need to make sure every game you're playing your objectives. Which is why they're generally, I would say, more or less, objective fleets are harder to fly. Just because you have to know every way your objective can be flipped on you. You have to know how best to maximize every little bit. I remember when Ruben was practicing for his like Farm Hawk list, and he was measuring, like he would run just by himself, run like that Starhawk maneuver, so he knew exactly where to move the VCX, so he knew exactly where to move the Sensor Net, so he could reach it next turn. Because once you mismeasure it just by a little bit, you go, oh, it's close enough. And then you realize when you move, you're out of range of it. You just lost 45 points that round.
Yeah. And that was the only way they could win, is the farm. Because they generally don't have enough firepower to go and fight whatever fleet they're facing generally. Because like the whole idea is they turtle and can fend off whatever they lose with points. But dang it, I had something to say, but it's gone.
Sorry.
It's okay. What was I going to say?
Bidding, farming.
Yeah, bidding, farming. So I'll say, that's what I was going to say. Because you're no longer just navigating on the map, right? Now you're navigating for a reason other than, like, now you have to navigate to stay. This is like what you said. I think I'm just repeating you. You navigate to stay next to what you're doing, but you're also navigating at the same time they are to try and line up shots on you. Which it's already hard in Armada because of the whole shoot then move order of battle. So it's really hard to predict where everyone's going to be at, where you're going to be at, in relation to whatever you're farming. Like, I don't know. With the volatile deposits, you got to stay next to the asteroids. Yeah. And then also be able to target them. So, because you got to keep pressure on them too. Otherwise, they'll come in and overwhelm you. But yes.
So if you're not playing a farming list and you're trying to come up with a plan for if you run into a farming list, how would you go about that?
Bid deep and don't allow them.
No. Well, that's a bad plan.
Yeah.
A bad plan. But yeah,
I've got a 50-point bid.
Yeah, unless you really, really are bad at playing second, and you just have to bid 15 so you can pick first every time. Again, we talked about the Radis thing. That's really Radis is like the only archetype I think of bidding big to go first. Everybody else is pretty much bidding big to go second.
Just for clarity, why is it so important for Radis?
Okay, so Garrett, you want to take that one?
I guess, sure. So Radis, he drops, and the ship he drops can fire on round one, whatever round he drops on. So the whole idea is he drops in your side, in your rear, wherever sucks for you the most, and then he immediately gets to activate and blast you to smithereens.
Well, he can't activate that one first, but what you do is you drop the MC75 with Profundity, which drops the... Yeah, you can't activate that one first, but you do the 75 drop with Profundity. So then your first thing is the CR90 that does Overload Pulse, and then you do the MC75 with Boarding Troopers, and you wipe out all the defense tokens with a double arc.
Right, because you always have to rush and doll it. You drop that CR90B, Hammerhead, whatever's in there.
Yep. One of the big risks, and I know Ryan was running it. I think he changed it, but he was running it Radis on the CR90. And so the reason he had like a 16-point bid was because his CR90 was the only ship he put on the table. Yeah. And so he would deploy a CR90 and then a bunch of squadrons. And if he had to play second player, then he's got one ship and it can only go one place. So you as first player now have the advantage of he has to activate after you. So on turn one, you go, I'm going to go maximum speed, put my ISD right in the middle of the board, and your CR90 is going to be right here. And on turn two, you have to Radis drop before you want to, or I'm going to blow your CR90 up and kill you, untable you on turn two because you haven't dropped yet. And so that was why the Radis drop needed to go first, because you needed to be able to activate the CR90 and get it in a position before your opponent could take like that, maybe that onager shot, wherever it was.
Yeah. Well, when he's running the dual MC75,
that was less of a threat when he was doing that, yeah.
Right. So, and I think that's what made that so magical, though, was the fact that it was not a CR90, and he could be way more aggressive to where he was dropping. Because he's able to drop the MC75, and it would Profundity out the CR90B. CR90B activates, does its Overload Pulse, and then he Boarding Troopers.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but he traps you. Like, you can't move once he traps you out of the close range, so he's going to get his Boarding Troopers.
Yeah, he puts that MC75 right in your front hull, diagonally, right next to you, so there's nothing you can do to go away from it.
So what are some of the more unique strategies you've seen work? Unique plans there?
Well, like in general? Like in Armada? Like all
Armada.
There's a lot of really cool stuff. There's been a lot over the years. Recently, something cool that's worked.
Put you on the spot there. We're just kind of riffing tonight, guys. So, if you've got any comments, please feel free to share them. We're just kind of having fun.
I'm trying to think of like good combos like that. The Boarding Trooper, anything like Overload Pulse Boarding Trooper is kind of like it's an oldie but a goodie when you can get it off.
I guess it's old now. Man, like nobody did that prior to 2022 or something.
Well, that was 3 years
I guess
ago.
that's old now. Oh my gosh. Oh,
yeah. Time flies.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Things like, we're kind of out of the onager meta now. Double onager was obnoxious. It wasn't really clever. It was just
yeah, well.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, it was exhausting. I was actually going to talk, if you don't mind, I'll just pivot. I was going to talk about synergy with list building.
Okay.
And that's kind of on topic of what you think about, like things that work well.
Hey, Joel. Welcome.
Hey, Joel.
Hi, Joel.
Because when you talk about like things that like work well, this I think is also the second biggest thing I would talk about list building is instead of like first you have an idea of what you want to do, right? So it's like, do I want to play a specific commander? Do I want to play a specific do I want to play squadrons or not? Because that can be a decision. Maybe you just go, I'm going to play a 134. So you start with that, and then you build it from there. There's a lot of synergy in this game. The best lists, the ones that always consistently do well at like Worlds or even just in any local tournament, are the ones where every point is working towards the same goal. Right? You need to have overall synergy with your list. and that means understanding and recognizing when objective or when upgrades are working kind of against each other. And that could be, two upgrades that just don't work well, an upgrade that maybe doesn't work that well on a specific ship, or like,
hold on,
yep,
hold on. Why don't
yeah,
we just build an example fleet?
okay,
Let's
sure,
just do that. Let's just do that.
all right,
I think that's the easiest way to get across.
let's do
Because
it.
I'm sure there's people like me out there who want a full-on example.
Let
Right, when I'm
me
doing when I'm learning
see
stuff.
if I can get some visual representation up here. You guys can
We'll
go
get
ahead and
started.
start
We'll get
talking. Yeah.
Yeah. So what
Admiral
fact
do we
or
want?
What
yeah, okay, yeah,
what faction are we doing?
Empire.
Okay.
For
okay,
sure.
let's do Empire.
Yeah.
Okay,
Listen, it's
so
80% of the player base. Let's just do it.
okay, so let's do an Empire list. So we can look at commanders. Now you have again, there's commanders like I said, Jerry or I mean I put Admiral Mahdi kind of in that category of like they're kind of generalists that can work with anything. If you want to pick the admiral first, then let's look at somebody like Sloane. Um, you could look at even like Vader, Thrawn, Tarkin, Jerry. What do you guys want?
What do you think, Chris? I want you to name an admiral. Just throw one out there. We'll make it
And then
even
we'll
work.
we'll play around it. Yep.
Well, I am always big on. Hold on. I am always big on Jerry. I
Right.
like movement.
Do it.
Jerry.
Jerry's our guy.
So Jerry. So one thing I think about is what does your commander give you? Jerry gives you two. Click. Everybody know you 2 clicks, take a damage on your first. So what that means is we don't have to navigate as much. So is there a way that we can build into our list a lack of a need for navigation, right? Because now we have Jerry to navigate for us. So we can run squadrons because now we have we can do ISDs that can push squadrons while navigating. We can run like a tanky list that just plans on engineering. That's where like my super list came from, with just like, hey, I don't need nav because I have Jerry to do that for me. So I can just straight engineer. Let's look at center. Let's think about this. So with Jerry, we don't have to navigate, which means we also, if we do navigate, we have more control over our opponent's maneuvering and positioning.
Yeah. I would ask ourselves first, do we want to fly? Basically, do you want an ISD or do you want to fly MSU? Right. Because it's either ISD, which is going to take a lot of the points, or we go multiple small units.
Yep. I've been building a lot of ISD. Let's do MSU. Let's do an MSU list.
Love it. Okay.
So Jerry came with the Architens, right? Because they have blank double at speed 3. Jerry gives us a double. Then we can get a click with a nav dial and a double, which makes the Architens crazy maneuverable. A Gladiator is always fun to get in there because with engine techs you can get some really tight spots with that double click.
All right, so where are we starting with again?
So we got Jerry on a Architens light cruiser.
Okay.
And then, obviously, Nick is right. If we're flying MSU, Demolisher has to be part of the build.
The equation, yeah.
It's too good not to.
Sorry, what was
Gladiator
that?
1 or 2, because you can do either.
I'm going to stick with the 1 for now.
Love it.
Okay, and then we'll see if we have the points.
Got Architens with Jerry, and then the Gladiator 1.
Yep.
Now here's the issue that I'm seeing already is so Gladiator with Demolisher runs, so when you're looking at fleets and way you fly your game, you have kind of 2 ways of doing damage. You can either do all your damage at once and try to overwhelm a ship and blow it up and just kind of do all your burst damage, or you can do attrition damage where you're doing a lot of small packets and try to wear something down and mitigate the defense tokens by doing just 1 or 2 at a time. Your Architens is better at doing the attrition. Your Gladiator's really good at doing the burst. And so what can happen with this is that your demo shot is always going to get braced because it's really the only damage. It's really the only shot that's going to probably do 4 or 5 or more damage in one packet. Whereas your Architen shots are kind of constantly be redirected around to where if your demo's flying towards the side of a ship, your opponent's going to see that coming and they're going to move shields to that side and then just redirect everything else around it and brace the demo shot, right? And so we need to try to find a way that we're going to mitigate that kind of the two different damage types. And so I'm thinking we, instead of doing like, you traditionally do like your X-Rax big demo shot, maybe we do something a little more consistent.
On the Gladiator, I still think with Jerry, especially now,
Yeah.
right? You can set up a very unexpected demo shot. Like you can almost, with a nav dial, circumnavigate behind the ship.
Right.
Right. You can turn like a Recusant.
Yeah. With engine techs and Jerry, your demo at speed 3 has a double 1, and then engine techs with a double. Right. So
And,
it goes a speed 4 with only 1 click missing from a full turn.
right. And so think about it. You could be sitting at your deployment zone speed 1, and with a nav token and dial, all of a sudden speed 3, engine tech speed 4 run the other side of the board. And so that kind of mitigates how the other opponent can plan for you're going to be, but you can also catch them, right? And so we can take the time whittling them down with the Architans.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like your demo is not going to be going in there on turn 2 or turn 3 making its attack run. You want to soften everything up with the Architens and then make the demo shot when it's kind of been worn down. For your Architens, are we thinking maybe double Architens?
I'm thinking 2 to 3.
2 to 3. We probably don't want any Raiders.
I don't think any Raiders because we're doing the Gladiator already, right?
Right.
I'm thinking cheap, right?
So
I'm
two more
thinking
light cruisers.
Yeah.
2 more light cruisers. For cheap, we could do DTTs, or we can do XI7s. Or
I'm partial to DTTs, but then one of them is going to get Nita with TRCs.
TRCs.
Right, because Nita's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Now, do you want Nita on Jerry's ship, or do you want Nita on his own?
I kind of like it on the flagship because the extra AV8 is better than a contain. So it just kind of is a little bit more defensible.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll do 2 of these.
Okay, so we've got the Architons with Jerry, Nita, and TRCs, and then we've got the other 2 that have DTTs.
But I do like your XI7 idea because you can make them. They're forced to soak shields on the side you want to hit them with Gladiator, right? Because they can only redirect 1.
Yeah, you've got your two Architens shoot the same side on this. When you finally get your attack run going, you go, I'm going to hit you in your side, your big wide side on like your Munificent or your MC80. I'm going to hit you with 2 Architens with my Confire. Maybe that's the turn you do Confire dials with Confire tokens, and you do like 3 or 4 damage. Can only redirect 1. 3 or 4 damage. You can only redirect 1. Then the demo comes in with a double arc on that round and hits that same side. Now, granted, we don't have XI7s on the Gladiator, so then they just go, well, I still have 4 shields in the front, so I'll just redirect it all up there. But again, that comes back to synergy, and this is why I also talk about like XI7s. Like, you never want to run something like XI7s with like heavy turbo lasers, right? Because heavy turbo laser is going to focus the brace token. XI7 is going to focus the redirect token.
Yeah.
So if you have 2 ships with those upgrades in the same fleet, your opponent's just going to brace the XI7 and redirect the heavy. And so we want to make sure all of our damage is getting through. If anything, actually, maybe we do Intel Officer on a couple of those Architens.
Yes. All right, excellent. And then because we're throwing so many points into this Gladiator, and they often die, would it be wise to put Iden Versio on it, perhaps?
That's what I was thinking too. I was thinking either Iden or Brunson's just too expensive. Iden's just better.
Expensive. Iden's is when you resolve the evade defense effect, you can cancel 1 die close range or distance 1, which is real clutch.
Where's my other Intel Officer?
Awesome. We still have 88 or 98 points.
Okay, I must have missed something then.
We need ordnance experts on the Gladiator.
Yes, Gladiators and Ord experts.
We didn't say that, but we all assumed.
Yeah, sorry.
So I'm at 298 right now.
Oh, okay. I threw in 2 Gazantes just as a placeholder. I haven't done anything with them yet. It's possibly going to be a comms-net and a munitions expert.
Yes.
Munitions expert. Munitions resupply.
That's because we want dice fixing for our architects.
Yeah. And all at the beginning, turn 1, it just empties itself, throws Confire tokens on everybody. And then one thing I like to do with my Gazantes with that is that bring some squadrons. When you're doing MSU, have your munitions resupply just empty its whole armament on turn 1, and then it just follows the squadrons around and pushes squads. Bank a squad token on turn 1, and then push 3 squads.
Okay, so one has munitions and one has CommsNet?
Yep.
349, that's where I'm at.
That's what I'm looking at, yep.
I put X-Rax on the Gladiator.
I did too.
I'm missing 4 points are missing.
So I don't have X-Rax on there. So yeah, I'm at 353 now.
There we go. That's what I have.
I'm not.
I've got
3 Architens light cruisers.
Yep.
Need a TRC with Jerry.
Yep.
2 Intel, 2 DTTs.
Oh, that's where we're different. I put it to XI7s.
We're doing XI7s? Yeah, let's do XI7s. Yeah. I like the XI7s more too. So
it's fun because you can Intel officer their brace or whatever.
Yeah, and then say you can't redirect it. Yep.
Yeah. Like, enjoy your contain token.
Yep. So that gives us 47 points for squadrons.
And what are our squadrons doing in this fleet?
For MSU, we want to have some squadrons that can either... We want some generalists. Like I said, we do have the munitions resupply that can follow and push them, so we don't need to have all rogues just in case. But we don't necessarily need to just go with 4 TIE fighters. We have some points, so we can upgrade some of our TIEs. So we're not going to really get more than 4 squadrons. So we either want to go with some tanky squadrons that can tie up a squad ball for a few turns. So you have things like Tel and Sienna, stuff like that. Or you have some generalists that if our opponent brings light squadrons, we can punch through their squadron screen, and then you have things like Bosk or Darth Vader Defender that can also hit ships and add to the threat. So we could go with something like Vader Defender and Tel.
So I like Tel a lot because in the right conditions, he's really hard to kill.
He's the only squad I've already put in the list.
Yeah. With Tel. He's just, with his ability, if you manage him correctly, it takes 2 to 3 turns to kill him. With
so hard to kill him.
Like a full squad ball shooting him too.
Yeah. That gives us 30 points.
Vader Defender is insane. Especially if he sticks his hip to Tel. Super hard to kill him.
So that could just be our thing is Vader and Tel. And that gives us 5 points of bid. Or we can take Hondo, or we could even put reinforced blast doors on Jerry.
Oh, we have room. And because we don't care if we go first or second. We'd like to go first.
Or we take reactive gunnery on Jerry.
No.
Yeah, just 1 red. Yeah. I think RBDs.
I think so. I think that's great. And now we're at 400 points.
6
activations, 7 deployments. It's pretty healthy.
Yep.
So what are the objectives that go with this?
Well, I want to say most wanted.
Most wanted. Most wanted. Yep.
Because it's like Akbar CR90s where you're just chucking out so many extra dice.
Yeah, you could make an argument for opening salvo. But my argument would be most wanted is better.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're going to make your comms net flotilla
the wanted over here, and I'm going to pick your flagship, your big large, to be the one that every ship that attacks is going to get a bonus die.
Right.
All right.
And I love that it's after deploying fleets. It's just so disgusting.
Yeah. It's what'd you line up there? Perfect. That's where I'm going.
And it's every shot, right?
Yep.
So all of a
So
sudden,
double-
getting a double arc from Architons matters.
Yep. And the double arc, again, because we have Jerry, you don't have to nav with your Architens. You should still nav.
Yeah.
But you can like take a nav token on turn 1 and then get a Confire dial. Alternate nav and Confire so that you can kind of position when you need to. Because your Architens don't want to be taking damage every turn to get their turns.
Yeah.
You're going to lose them that way. But with reinforced blast doors, if you have activation on it, you can actually take a damage on your Nita Architens, and if you have missing shields, take it to the hull. If you knew next turn you're going to RBD anyway, and the next turn just wipe your damage.
Yep.
So for defense, our yellow.
I'll let Nick pick first, but it's obvious, I think.
I'm trying to not say Asteroid Tactics.
I know, it's so good.
We could do Hyperspace Assault.
You could.
You could, because you could drop Tell. You could drop a Gladiator. You could demo Tell and Vader behind something. But because we have Jerry, we don't really need the positioning because we can make the positioning happen when we need to.
Right.
But however, I feel like Asteroid Tactics with Tell kind of just says
I have done it. It is hilarious.
Yeah.
To just have like, oh, I burn my scatter, I heal 3, and then I land on an asteroid and I get a scatter token back.
Yeah. It's too good not to take.
Yeah.
It's basically if you want to seriously go and like win, take Asteroid Tactics.
Yeah. I also really love Asteroid Tactics with any ship with an evade token because now you have Iden Versio that flies in hot and gets blasted, and I'm gonna ditch my evade token, cancel 2 your black dice, and then next turn I'm gonna come in, hit you with my demo shot, land on the asteroid, get my evade token back. And the Architens can all do the same thing.
Yep.
All your smalls can burn their evade tokens and return and regain them on your asteroid.
All right, and then finally we're looking at navigation.
This one opens up.
This one opens up. I'm leaning immediately towards volatile deposits, just because it's easier for us to sit back and farm. Hyperspace migration is not terrible, but if your opponent's running a big, heavy list, it puts your ships in kind of a position where they can't get away. You want to be able to scatter with all your smalls.
And then once you scatter, they'll take your points that you earned.
Yeah, they just sit there on the whales and farm. So really, this could be where you make an argument for Intel Sweep with an Architens or even Demo, just going speed 4 and picking up tokens.
Yep.
You could do something like Nav Hazards, even Salvage Run. Salvage Run doesn't get played as much because it doesn't give as many points as some of the other farming ones.
It's also really risky because you have to go to where the station is.
Yeah, it puts you in that position where your opponent kind of knows where you're going to be. I would say maybe superior positions and force your opponent to deploy first. And then you have Vader, who's a rogue with Adept and Bomber, and Demolisher, who has an easy time getting to the back. And so you can get around your opponent's ship and farm some superior points while also having... Yep.
It's very easy to flip this.
It's easy to flip superior.
I felt like it probably was.
My favorite ones so far are Volatile, and then I'm a huge Infested Fields guy. I don't really care about the points. I'm going to get my 3 tokens, right? But moving the obstacles that I put the Exegors on is so powerful.
Is obnoxious, especially, and because you have Jerry, you have it's kind of the same. I wish Nav Hazards was better. It's just like a worse version of Infested.
Yeah.
But Nav Hazards Infested, because you can move the obstacles and you have Jerry, you have such an easier time getting around the obstacles as they're moving around.
Well, for this we'll go with Infested. Now, let me ask you, Nick, are you actually... I seem to recall you saying you were having some difficulties with Thursdays for a while.
Yeah. I signed up for a class. I'll be in for 8 weeks.
I was going to say, so you won't be there this coming Thursday?
No, unfortunately.
Garrett, how would you feel about flying this?
400 points? Yeah, I can fly this.
Okay. So that's what Mid-Rim Mayhem is going to be. You're going to fly this, and we'll have you fly against Ruben.
You got it.
Make us proud, Garrett.
Yeah.
I
don't
mean,
do
and
much. I don't do much gladiator flying. So let's see if I mess that up.
just remember you take your first shot before you move and your second shot after you move, but before the engine tags.
Thanks for that pro tip. Brought to you by Nick.
You the man. Well, we are out of time now, so I want to thank you guys for joining me for this show. Not as structured as we normally go, but I want to thank everybody for watching as well.
I feel like that was pretty structured, actually.
Yeah,
We got done.
it wasn't. It wasn't horrible. So I will see you, Garrett, on Thursday, and Nick, I guess I'll see you when we do our pivotal.
Yeah, once we figure that out, I'll be there.
All right, you have a good night.
All right, bye, guys.
See you.
All right, so we do know what we're going to do for Mid-Rim Mayhem. If you want to see how the fleet we put together works, you will get to see Garrett fly that on Thursday, and I hope you enjoy that. Then Sunday we should have our Sith Adventures on Swoder, so looking forward to that. Couldn't do it this past Sunday because, well, yesterday I was at the Bengals game. Great game. Had a lot of fun there. But thank you guys for watching. We're going to go ahead and call this a night, and I hope you have a great evening.